been to Colorado. All right. Well, yeah, Colorado is a wonderful place. Today I'm going to be talking about how fun and pleasurable going to Colorado is. I've been researching about this, and I've been to Colorado multiple times in the winter. Or I'm going to be talking about Colorado, how fun Colorado is in the wintertime. I've been there many times over in the winter. Today I'm going to be talking about how there's like the mountain resorts there to do, the sports teams, and what you can do that's inexpensive. There are a vast amount of mountain resorts you can go skiing and snowboarding to. According to Colorado's Colorado's tourist website, there are approximately 26 different types of ski resorts that you can go to. You go to the more popular ones like Aspen over here and Winter Park or Copper Mountain, or you can go to the more local spots where the locals go, like Loveland and Echo Mountain. I've been fortunate enough to go to both, so I kind of know where like popular mountains have more people, but it's more, you have more runs and more things to do, whereas Loveland is smaller, but it's cheaper and stuff like that. Next slide. And what's so convenient is that all the resorts are all local or close together, except for a couple of these, but even those are close together. So you can choose different ones to go to, and you don't have to drive to the other end of the state and whatnot. But if you're not good with, if you don't like the cold or skiing or snowboarding, you can always go to a sporting event. They have a sporting event or a team for every sports fan there is possible. For baseball, they have the Colorado Rockies. For hockey, they have the Avalanche, and then for football, they have the Broncos, and then basketball, they have the Nuggets, and then soccer, they have the Rapids. So you have a selection for every sports fan, except you like those hardcore sports that are random. But yeah. And they even offer, if you don't really like the cold, you can go to an indoor sporting event that's more like hockey, but that's even cold, and basketball. But if you like me, if you like the cold, you can go to outdoor sporting events like baseball, soccer, and football. But unfortunately, soccer and baseball aren't in season due to the cold. Next slide. And you can go if you don't want to spend a lot of money, but there's a lot of fun activities to do. You can go sledding up in here, but you have to get your own stuff. But the only downside to sledding is that you have to walk up the hill multiple times, and that's very tiring. But it's always fun. Next slide. Next, you can have snowball, but if you're not very aggressive, you can just make a snowball or a snowman or snowwoman, your gender. But like me, I'm not very creative at making snowmen, so I just made a big snowball. And that was the baby snowball from the work, and then it went down and made into that, which was up to my waist. It's pretty heavy. But yeah, a lot of work, lots of fun. Next slide. And if you don't want to do that, just too lazy, you can just ride around. My cousin had an ATV. It was fun, but yeah, it was all small. I'm all wearing this, he's like 12, I'm like 17, I'm wearing this tiny stuff, trying to buy everything. But I think the best part of that was when we got bored just running around doing donuts in the snow and stuff. We attached the sled to the back of this, and we started driving everyone around, but of course we didn't drive everyone around in the street. There was actually snow in the street. This was a picture later in the day. And yeah, our faces got all cold and everything. It was lots of fun. So if you want to go out, or as you can see, Colorado is a fun and pleasurable place to be in the wintertime. Maybe I'll see you around there when I'm visiting in the winter.
All right, Tyler, what did you think? I thought it was a good speech. I like the fact that he makes the audience laugh here and there. I think that's always helpful. I like the fact that he went over alternative forms of entertainment for those of us that don't like cold, because everyone hates cold. So I thought that was pretty cool. Overall, I thought it was pretty informative. Thought he had a pretty good hook in the beginning. Got our attention. Most people love snow, so it's a topic a lot of people can relate to. I think it was a good speech.
All right, well, the audience survey at the beginning is good, but you don't really do much follow-through up with it. So you got a lot of people who've gone to Colorado, and then next thing you know, you're focusing on the winter weather. And if you're going to ask the question, well, follow it up with some interesting information. How many people typically visit Colorado? Why, is it a popular spot? Is it the most popular spot there where people go for skiing? That's the way you could follow up something like that. It doesn't surprise me that so many of you have been to Colorado, since it is the best skiing in the country, and then you could make a transition. By the way, that wasn't your cell phone, was it?
No, that wasn't.
Oh, okay. Because that was just a weird noise, and it was very distracting there at the beginning.
Hey, come your mouth. Golly.
All right. The topic is okay. But I know exactly what Tyler means. I hate the cold, so I'm turned off on it immediately. And then it was a little strange when you said, well, there are alternatives if you don't want to be outdoors, but there aren't really, because there isn't any baseball or soccer. And I'm going, okay, well, so I guess there aren't any alternatives. I'm outdoors or I'm watching a basketball game. I guess those are my choices in that situation. So it just seems a little bit underdeveloped. I like the idea that you have. I thought the place where you were doing the best job when it came to information is in the first section, where you're talking about the ski resorts and the number of places that there are, and you had the map showing us their relative location. And you could develop that into a speech in and of itself, talking about the differences between the resorts or the runs, or where people go, or what the advantages or disadvantages of any of those particular choices would be. And I think it would be a little bit more focused. The second section, where you're talking about the alternatives, I think just doesn't get much beyond telling us what the professional sports teams are in Colorado. And not being from there, it's hard to root for any of those teams. I suppose that somebody out here is a Broncos fan or just loves the Rockies or the Avalanche, but I would imagine that's pretty rare, unless you were from that area. Who's going to be a fan of the Avalanche or their local soccer team, that kind of thing. It's more one of those things for the locals.
I love that.
Okay. Which one? Rockies fan and what? Broncos fan. Well, I could understand the Broncos. I don't know about the basketball or the baseball thing. It's just a little weird. They're always having those problems with the baseball game. It's like they made the World Series a couple years ago, and they're playing in November, and people are practically freezing. They're getting frostbite on the pitcher's mound. What the hell is that all about? There's just something wrong there, But like I said, it's on that second section, it just seems like it's kind of dropped in, and I don't think that it helps the speech much. The other experience that you had, talking about riding with your cousins on the ATV, and you had a funny picture there with the small-sized protective gear and those kinds of things, I think that could be any place where there's snow. So why is Colorado the place to go for those kinds of things? And I think we're running into an issue here where it's just material. It's been structured, it does fit together, but there's no particular reason to have it all together, and so I think it's underdeveloped as a presentation. You did an okay job talking to the audience. The visuals are fine. They're signposts that get us through to the next point. They don't really add much understanding the material, but they do help structure it a little bit. And there's so much more that you could have done with this. This is a 4-minute and 20-second presentation, so it's a little clear that it's underdeveloped. Okay. Thank you.